Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order now that everybody's kind of here.
Kinda. Chris is.
Is there anything emergent to add to the meeting?
Yes, I would like to add a closed matter. Non-matter.
Lands matter, so that would be B.
But that we approve as amended or adopt as amended, sorry.
Okay, James. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then accounts payable for information. Somebody like to move that? Matt? Any questions or concerns of any of the accounts payable? Matt?
Check number 86640 BNL lawn maintenance snow and ice removal. Where are we paying to have snow and ice?
That's under FCSS.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh,
Is that kind of like the house cleaning and whatnot?
okay.
We might
That's
do
what it's for. If that is what it's for.
What is the number again?
86640.
Some of these had to do with bylaw enforcement issues of clearing.
We're billing that out then?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, the bylaw says goes to them and then it goes to the town eventually if they don't pay it. Okay, any other questions? Oh,
Well, one question.
well,
What?
what?
I was just waiting to see if anyone else asked, because I
Well,
already
don't.
asked mine.
Well, then don't.
Well, one question that I have about for everyone's information is on EFT 7788, the tax auction surplus funds that we paid out $400,000 on.
So those are the surplus funds from three of the properties sold at the tax auction back in November. After we deducted the taxes and utilities owing on the accounts and a 5% administration fee and the legal fees associated with clearing everything up, that was the surplus funds that were released to that person.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And then we move to number 2, delegations. We have Staff Sergeant Courty here to give third quarter report. Welcome.
And I didn't even put it up for him. She made me a slide.
No respect.
Vacations are nice though. So yeah, this third quarter is covering the period of October 1st to December 31st, so just before Christmas. One of the things they want us to mention, which I'm in the planning processes for, is we're going to be holding hopefully an in-person community engagement town hall in town so that the public can come out and voice their concerns to us in the creation of our kind of next year's priorities, as well as we'll be looking for the town as well to give us kind of their thoughts on what priorities should be set for next year as well. The real-time, they wanted us also kind of remind or update on the real-time operations center. I think I mentioned this before. It's been in existence in Alberta since October 2022. And it's we've used it quite a bit down here for different incidents, especially our hurricane situation we had a couple year ago. It's basically a group of senior officers, police officers. That's consisting of a staff sergeant, a sergeant, a criminal analyst, as well as a public servant. And they, when there's no supervisor working at the time, they kind of manage the whole incident until we can either get incident commander or people on scene, and they do that 24/7. And we've used it quite a bit so far in the last 2 years to do that. So that's a resource that we do have available to us. With regards to our community policing report, there are a number of items that we for our quarterly update. So in October, in regards to road crime prevention, in the town limits, we had 0 thefts of motor vehicles. 2 break and enters, one was commercial, one was residential. We had 6 files related to spousal abuse, and November we had no theft of motor vehicles. 2 break and enters again, one was a business and residential, and 3 files related to spousal abuse. In December, we had 1 theft of motor vehicle, and it was another type of motor vehicle. It wasn't like a car or a truck. 1 business B&E break and enter again, and 6 files related to spousal abuse. Now that just doesn't mean that we charged people with. These are just the investigations that we got called upon. For that same period in the rural detachment, we had 0 thefts of motor vehicles, 5 break and enters to 2 businesses and 3 other types of locations. We had 2 theft of motor vehicles, a truck and an SUV in November, and 7 break and enters. 4 were for businesses, 1 for residential, 2 cottages in the Elkwater area. And in December, we had no theft of motor vehicles, 4 break and enters. 2 were for business, 2 were for residential. And in December, we ramped up our driving kind of campaign, and we had 8 related provincial roadside suspensions. 7 were for alcohol, and 1 were for drug related. A total of, in the whole quarter, between October through December, we had 807 calls for service. When speaking about the business break and enters, sometimes they're classified as a break and enter, but it might be a break and enter to a fenced compound, not an actual building, or kind of a off-site well site or something like that. And the residential business break and enters, when I checked, most of them were, especially in town, they were break-ins to people's attached garages, so they get classified as a break and enter as well to a residence. Now, with regards to traffic enforcement for the for that quarter, we investigated 97 motor vehicle collisions. We had that's throughout the whole county and the town of Redcliff. We had 1 fatal collision, 8 non-fatal injury motor vehicles, 19 non-reportable property damage, and 69 reportable property damage. In October, we had no provincial roadside suspensions. In November, we had 4 provincial roadside suspensions. 3 were for alcohol, 1 was for drugs. In December, again, we had 8 of the roadside suspensions, 7 of which were alcohol and 1 drug related. One of the things where we're seeing a little bit of an increase in non-reportable property collisions is because they changed the dollar value for what's reportable, what's not reportable. So now we only take reportable collisions if they're over $5,000. Under $5,000, they're not reportable.
Which is still just a dent.
Those are expensive.
Wouldn't know.
What was the number before? I always thought it was 5,000.
$2,000, yeah.
2,000, okay.
Now a headlight on most new cars are $1,600 just to replace the headlight assembly. So
Yeah.
During the our presence in the rural communities and road safety, we had Constable Wilkie, who was still doing the DARE programs in the rural schools. I'm kind of working with it's been brought up and it's preliminary, but working with the school board to see if we might be able to get a school resource officer position that can assist with all schools, including Redcliff County and everywhere. So that's in kind of the early discussion stages. Right now, the RCMP has put the enhanced policing program on hold until they can fill their actual full complement positions before we're going to get enhanced positions back. We attended the various Remembrance Day ceremonies around Redcliff and Medicine Hat, as well as local schools. We attended Eagle Butte High School and Margaret Wooding School for their ceremonies. Members also assisted with the Santa Claus Fun Parade. The Stuff the Cruiser event this year was another success, and the weather, as usual, wasn't.
That's just stellar.
Yeah. And we also, during this quarter, from October to December, we still struggled with resources. We had 3 hard vacancies and 1 soft vacancy out of our total membership. With regards to community engagement, we've also continued with our presentations at the Eagle Butte High School with regards to impaired driving, cyberbullying, distracted driving to their comm class. And we also did some other impaired driving things at the school at the lunch hour. To drill down a little bit from October kind of through December, some of the things that we actually went out in the community with. Some of them I mentioned, the Remembrance Day ceremonies at Eagle Beach High School and at IF Cox. It was Margaret Wooding. I think it was IF Cox.
It says it's like cost.
Myself and one other member attended the ceremony here in Redcliff, and one other member was assigned to go to Medicine Hat. We did attend in December 10th for the second quarter community policing report here. And also we had the Stuff the Cruiser event on December 18th and the Candy Cane run on December 23rd. With regards to resources, during that time, we had the 3 hard vacancies and 1 soft vacancy. Right now, starting in December, in December, we had a experienced member come to the detachment this is his 3rd detachment, so he's got quite a bit of experience, and we also have 2 cadets that started in January. So right now, all of the municipal positions are full. We have myself, 1 corporal, and 6 constables, all in those positions. Unfortunately, we are still at this time dealing with 2 hard vacancies, or 1 hard vacancy on our provincial side, and we have another member that's house is going to be up for sale imminently, and then he'll be transferred as well. So I'm working with staffing in our district to try to get those 2 hard vacancies filled going forward. And with regards to financials, during this quarter, we've kept as with throughout the whole year, kind of the municipal side of the budget down. So we're trending quite a bit lower than what the revised plan was in the fiscal year to date. So by quite a bit. So, and that hasn't changed when I just checked it recently. So we're still trending lower than what the budget was. That's it on my end, unless you guys have anything questions.
Any questions? Go ahead, Kathy.
I just had a client comment to me today that with the weather getting warmer, word on the street is that there's crime is ramping up. Is that the case?
Well, in this, I haven't looked at this quarter's yet, but when I look at the October to December quarter, October, December, so personal crime was down by 38%. Persons crime was down by 38%. There was a slight increase in uttering threats, but every other category of that was down. Property crimes in that 3rd quarter, there was overall a 15% increase from last year at the same time. But break and enters were down 38%. Theft of motor vehicles down 50%. Theft under 5,000 was down by 20%. One area that was increased was frauds, and that's kind of getting the messages out there for these different scams that people are falling for. 31% of mischief was up in town, damage to property. And I'd have to look into this a little bit more, but mischief and it's other types of mischief, and we classify sometimes other types of mischief for noise complaints that we deal with. That's up 175%. So I don't know if that's just, instead of classifying it as for us, a municipal bylaw for noise complaint, we classify it as a mischief because it's enjoyment of property. So that is up by 175%. I know we had a little bit of a, kind of goes in waves where we had property crimes that were kind of increasing a little bit. We haven't really had any rushes of kind of theft from motor vehicles around town lately. But the big thing is remind people to lock their doors, keep their keys out of their cars. In looking at recently, we had those 2 vehicles in town that were stolen. As I said, both of the vehicles have been recovered, and 1 person for one of the incidences are in custody and was held for a bail hearing. So they're remanded for a while, so for a couple of days anyway. But yeah, I don't have the specific statistics from January till now.
For your community engagement, where are you guys going to post that information if people want to do that now?
We do, I can get it posted on our RCMP, kind of Alberta RCMP Facebook page, but then I would probably seek the assistance from the town and
Sign.
on the sign and thing, yeah, to advertise it on town.
Along those lines, with the province requiring everybody to get either a regional or their own police commission, what is the RCMP take on that so far?
We've asked the questions of our district and they are still trying to meet with the province to see what that's going to look like. And I don't know if they've had those meetings with them yet. But I know they're leaving the province and the municipalities up to how they want to design it. And then we will assist when it's determined what it's going to be.
Because at our last meeting, we made the motion that we were going to send a letter to the minister to let us have our own independent commission versus try to go regional, because there's just not enough in the area. And no, we haven't drafted the bylaw to put all that stuff into place. But in the old days, when we had our own police, well, the chief always attended the meetings. Then you have your civilians attending the meetings, possibly a council rep. And yeah, then they're supposed to be the ears, not that you can't have open houses to listen to public, but that's supposed to assist with all that and the planning. But again, I just was wondering how that was being received in the bigger world.
Like I said, when I knew that it was coming out and we were asking kind of questions to our district command as to what that would look like and how kind of our RCMP's responsibility is going to be at those meetings. And if we still have to report to council or we're going to have to report to the committees or how that's going to work. And they didn't have the answers as of yet because none of the committees are actually up and running and they're not sure how that's going to work. So.
Yep. Well, there was some newspaper people inquiring as well. And I was like, so far we've had input at least annually what our priorities would be, and you can quarterly report. So it's not like there's no communication, but it is perceived that apparently by somebody that there isn't enough.
I know when I was in Ontario, that's the way they were set up and that's the way the detachment commanders went. They went to the those councils are quarterly, I believe, or even monthly, and gave whenever they met and gave their updated reports, just like we do here, except it was to that committee instead of the councils.
Okay.
But no, we haven't been told how that's going to look like yet. We're just still waiting on it.
Okay. So they will go with whatever, because in the end, the way I see it is if we do get permission to go our own, we will be setting up our own bylaw, which will probably say how many members and how many meetings. Again, there's still provincial input because for every 3 members, the province supposedly is going to send somebody.
Like I said, I don't have much details on how any of that's working. But
Yep, no, it's all good.
I know the message to us as detachment commanders was that once the kind of the councils or the committees are set up, then we will assist in whatever kind of the role that the police are going to make and how they're going to report.
Okay.
Meaning we'll be paying overtime for you to sit there.
No, that'll
Just
fooled. Okay. Any other questions? Somebody like to move? That's our Courty's report. Larry?
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor, of receiving information? Opposed? That's carried.
Marcus texted me, said to say hello to you.
I will text you back too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, moving on, public hearing. We have a public hearing for bylaw number 1985/2025 to amend land use bylaw number 1957/2023. Open the public hearing. Yes. Did you have any last minute?
Nothing.
Do any councillors have any questions? Seeing none. We'll give it 10 more seconds in case of something.
Just to make it seem like we had it for a minute.
I'll declare it closed. All right. Moving on to minutes of the council meeting of February 24th for adoption.
I'll move
I'll
it
move
up.
for adoption.
Oh,
Well, I'll give it to Chris.
Chris. Any errors or omissions? I have one comment. And that is in the discussion from the open houses, it's recorded a lot more than it's,
The public hearing.
there's, yeah, the public hearing, it's kind of recorded. Is that a good thing?
Public hearings generally have more detail put into them,
Okay,
whereas just the minutes are just the
yeah,
motion.
I know in minutes it's motions and,
When it comes to a public hearing, we record more information.
okay. All right. Good enough. All right. Any other questions from anybody? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. All right, then moving on to Family and Community Support Services for information. Kathy? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And then the Redcliff Cypress Regional Waste Management Authority meeting. Larry? Any questions or concerns? That. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, then we move into bylaws. So we have bylaw 1985/2025, a bylaw to amend land use bylaw number 1957/2023. It is here for second and third readings.
On the table for second reading.
Kathy? Questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And third reading. Larry? Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And then bylaw number 1986/2025 being the animal control bylaw, and it is here for first reading. For that. Any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I got a few questions.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
So excuse me if it was answered in there, but in the restricted animal section, does it say what a restricted animal is, or if it's just not a dog and a cat?
It does say, because it lists things like fish, gerbils, hamsters, all those domesticated critters as household pets. And a restricted animal is none of the above. So then that's like saying chickens and horses and cows and things like that. Except
Okay.
wild animals, deer are not included.
Okay, that's fair.
Any animal controlled or regulated by provincial or federal statute as well.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, I must have missed that part, but I assumed it was in there somewhere. So you can get a permit for a restricted animal. Is that solely at the CAO's discretion?
I did that myself.
So as the bylaw is right now, which is, the old one is included in there. There are certain areas that are outlined where restricted animals may be allowed. We wanted to bring it here for first reading, wanted to get your input. I do think that on second reading, we would incorporate having a map, which would show the existing areas where restricted animals may be allowed, which will help accommodate that. So it's known that you just can't have something in the middle of town. But yes, it is intended to be able to have it by a special permit that would be put in front of the CAO for consideration.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just CAO has the oversight of that, not council.
Presently,
that's what it's saying in the bylaw, yes.
Okay. Then two more questions. The noise portion of it with whining, barking, etc. I noticed it doesn't have any time attached to it, that it's basically 24 hours. I thought just for clarification, it might be best if we make note that there is no time attached to it. If that's okay with everybody, because there will be confusion. Oh, can my dog bark at 2 in or not?
do you know which section you're referring to?
It's near the end when it
Oh,
talks.
44.
Yeah. it talks about how it can't be just one neighbor, all, like another neighbor has to at least verify it too, in case you just have people that don't like you.
So Councillor Zambra, you wanted to add in which part?
There is
I
no
noticed that
time.
it, yeah, it doesn't mention time and I'm okay with that. Just for clarification for somebody going into this to see if there is a time, just say, maybe add a B there on saying, be noted that this is a 24/7 policy. Something along those
Just
lines.
like our noise bylaw, right?
Well,
Yeah.
no, our noise bylaw says you're allowed to make noise between 7.
No, it says you're allowed to use like garden
Lawn
equipment,
mowers,
make
yeah.
noise, but if your kids are screaming in the backyard, you can still get a ticket.
Yeah, if you're bothering somebody else, the way I remember it, you could still get a ticket, yeah.
Well,
Doesn't matter the time.
it does say in it to disturb the quiet peace, rest, enjoyment, comfort, or convenience of the neighborhood or the vicinity. So that on a broad reading could be any time of the day or night.
Well,
Yeah,
that is
and-
what it's meant to be, yeah.
And that is why I agree. I just thought it'd be a little simpler to somebody looking at this to confirm, oh, no, there is no time attached to it. It is 24/7. I mean, but that's okay if it's not. And then my last thing is I'd like to just see the fine for not picking up dog waste higher,
More than $50?
more than $50.
This
And
this dog can leave behind. Or $50 worth.
mine definitely is more than $50 worth. And then now I just thought about it, does that include a cat's droppings? Is there a fine for that?
It should,
That'd be very.
because when I'm digging in my flower beds, I don't want to come up with a handful of whatever.
Yeah. So does it include cat droppings? And I'm not really sold that I love the idea of registering cats. I know Medicine Hat has that. What kind of buy-in do they get into the system?
We've been at the
Or is
meeting.
it mostly pushback?
I agree with that.
So this matter was discussed at a previous GPC meeting where we brought this up for consideration. At that time, there was general consensus to have it incorporated into the bylaw, so it's here tonight for consideration.
Sorry, in what part do you agree with, Larry?
I don't think we need a cat license. And this business that we're gonna give people traps to trap cats and.
Well, we always have.
Yeah. And how are we gonna put these animals down when you get 50 of them delivered to the, how do you do that?
So we just let them run wild around town?
Well, they are right now.
I know, and it causes
Yeah,
problems.
and they're causing problems.
I don't think they're.
Well, I disagree. Like that's, everybody has opinions. That's good.
You disagree with what?
I think there are problems out there
Oh,
because they're running around.
Certainly
Chris,
is a lot more than I thought.
under the offenses, it said failure to remove animal defecation, so that could be cat or dog.
It could be, yes, it just says animal. Could
Yeah.
be your chicken.
Do we intend
Yes.
to enforce cat droppings?
Well, do we intend to enforce anything?
Intend, yes.
Because the definition of animal
Okay.
in the definition section says means any cat, dog, service dog, nuisance animal, or vicious animal, but does not include wildlife.
Right.
So that includes
Okay.
cat droppings.
Well, then I would propose that we change that offense to dog dropping. Because you can fine a cat owner till the, no pun intended, cows come home. And they can't change it without killing the cat.
But these are town of Redcliff violation things, right?
So Chris, I guess I would ask, then why don't you keep your cat in your yard?
How do you keep a cat in your yard?
How do you keep a cat in your yard?
They jump fences, yeah.
Well, I guess
So do dogs, if you love it.
we've had cats in our house and I can honestly say that I would find it would have to have been a very rare occasion where that cat even went outside, let alone got off the property.
Oh, I agree, and I believe you. A lot of cats are like that, but there are some that are much different.
And I have neighbors that faithfully every day open the front door and almost probably assist them out. That's basically now that's considered a cat at large. Maybe if you have a cat, rules should apply.
Well, some cats are.
I
just-
shouldn't
that's
be
their instinct.
responsible for your cat.
Well, I think that's part of living in society. I know my old cat, which I didn't really care for a whole bunch. Once he got outside one time, he fought and fought and there was no stopping him.
So if you can let your cats roam free, why can't you let your dogs roam free?
Exactly.
It's just different. It's
No.
just
No, it's not. It's an animal.
That sounds like you're trying to justify your reasoning with just because.
No, cats are just a
No, cats are
different
different.
literal breed. They're just more wild. They're not as domesticated.
yes.
Some of them. Dwight's example is different, but I know the cat that I had, once he tasted outside, he would sneak outside when you'd be leaving the house. You wouldn't even notice him there and he'd run outside. You couldn't keep him inside.
Well, if a cat is uncontrollable, maybe you shouldn't be allowed to have it at all.
Anyway.
That's a big step.
Okay. So, okay, Chris, is that all the issues you had?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Larry, did you voice yours or you did have your hand up?
I did have my hand. Yeah, I don't think we need a cat license, and I think it's gonna just create us a bunch of problems. And, I don't know, like I had an old dog and then I had the bylaw officer kneeling on my driveway with a dog treat, trying to get the dog to come to him. And then I says, well, Chad, what the hell are you doing? And he said, well, if I can entice your dog off of your yard, I can take him. I mean, this whole
Sounds
thing
like
is just,
the bylaw officers had it out for you.
pardon me.
Sounds like the bylaw officers had it out for you.
Well, this is what could happen too, eh?
I don't see how it would cause us a lot of problems.
Well, because people aren't gonna license these cats and,
Well, then
Well-
nothing changes.
But that there is also provision in here that if your cat is not licensed and you decide to claim it, fees can be attached to you or your property. And that might make some people take notice too.
I think things are tight enough financially for people that, you know, we just don't have to go.
But they can feed a cat all year.
Yeah, we just don't have to go after their pets.
Okay.
Another question, I did ask it, but it kind of got overlooked. Medicine Hat, I know, has cat licenses. How much buy-in do they get into the system, or is it mostly ignored? Or do we know?
I would think there must be some buy-in. I'm not going to say how much because I honestly don't know. But I do know that, you know, the spay, neuter and protect group have been in there and have asked for money and because of strays and things like that. So I would think there's probably enough responsible pet owners that are licensing their cats that people feel that there's a need to go further. Like they wanted the city to set up a fund, I believe, to help spay and neuter the wild ones, right? The ones that are caught that don't have owners. So I think there is some buy-in, but I have no idea what the percentages are. I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
many.
guess it's- Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't know how many people get tags for their dogs either. Because I know there's people with little house dogs that don't license them every year because they're in the house.
Yeah.
There's
of
always
course,
a reason why not to do something.
Yeah, we'll never know an accurate percentage, but if this does get past for first reading, could Shannon or somebody reach out to Medicine Hat, just see how many registered cats there are in Medicine Hat to give us an idea? If there's 12, that says something.
Yeah.
Says we should pass it.
Okay. No, definitely we can look into it. Hopefully that's an easy statistic to find.
Yes, I'm sure it will be. I hope that this looks different if it does go for third reading.
The only thing you said that I agree with is increasing the fine for not picking up the dog poop.
Is there much flavor for that?
Well, I don't want to know about the flavor of that, but
It's a fine.
It's only $50 for not picking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think 75 or 100 in my mind.
I mean, there could be a minimum for all of these, but
That's something we've enforced quite a bit at all.
The cat thing is new.
No, but I mean,
Dog,
but
it just-
some doggos are not cleaning up because it does happen. I find it every now and then because I have a corner lot.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to prove.
Yeah, yeah, you have to film them and then DNA it.
Yeah, that'll mostly be only enforceable if somebody took a video and reported it, of course.
Right, yeah.
Honestly, I'm not.
So it's
against
more of a
it.
deterrent than ever going to be effective.
Because if
Well,
that home, or if that head owner was, oh geez, it's $100 fine, well, maybe I should bring a little 2-cent bag.
well, it's, the heck, you don't even have to buy your own, go to the trail.
Yeah,
They're all sitting there in real containers. The
Yeah.
town supplies them.
And the town has been pretty good on that. I remember years ago, I believe I said it to Courty that the bags were always out, but they've been
Well,
good
it's
these
the
last
people-
few years.
Oh, and
People were taking them for lunch bags, I'm sure.
Hopefully
mess
the
around
empty
never
ones,
going to their dog park.
Just the empty ones, yeah.
that's good.
empty used ones.
That's not so good.
Well, we're all here. Do we want to go to $100 instead of $50?
No.
I'm okay with
But
that.
Larry, you're not in favor of this whole bylaw, so what's the number gonna be?
Okay, make it 1,000.
No, just 100.
I'm okay with $100.
Is it 100 on each of the 50s? Or just on that one? On
100
33?
100 and 150.
No, she asked if we want to increase
So,
some
like,
of the first.
there's no,
Like
$50
easing,
$100.
increasing to 100, like every,
Everything listed at $50 and.
Sure,
minimum
what's $100 today?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm fine with that. $100 for all those. And I'd say second offense.
Double it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't make it cheaper, no. Yeah, they would, it would have to
Honestly,
go
that
up to
has to be-
200. It would have to go up to 200. Because the rest usually double.
Well, it's 50% increases, so I'd be fine with 150 for a second or for
That's
subsequent.
only the $50 ones are 50% increases. All the other ones are.
Yeah, all the normal $100 ones go up to 200.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, I'm fine with whatever.
Okay,
What's the flavor for removing the word animal and just adding the word dog on that though?
Yeah, sure.
no, I think leave them both. If I have a video of a cat doing it, should be just as legal as a dog doing it.
Okay, that's one wrong vote. Anybody else?
I guess that's two wrong votes.
Yeah.
Because I'm in.
Don't
Agree.
Okay,
I see
well,
one more.
okay, anything else from anybody?
So these
Animals,
changes that are being contemplated be brought back.
Shown in
shown up
second reading?
Second reading as amended.
Okay.
It wouldn't be included on first reading.
Okay. Does a cat need a leash to be outside?
Well, you can't, if depending on what kind of fence you got, if you can control it. It should be controlled.
Because I know it says,
A dog, 2 meters.
it only says a dog has to have a leash, not a cat, and I do believe that if we're gonna treat a cat and a dog as the same, then it needs a leash too. And I know they don't like them, because we bought a harness and a leash for one of our cats. We thought, well, we could take her outside.
Well, there was someone on.
I think it gave her reason to stay inside after that.
I think some dogs don't like it either.
Yeah, that's probably true.
There was someone on Fifth Street, she let her cat out on a 30-foot leash that didn't extend past the property line.
Yeah.
Cat loved it.
Well, obviously cats are, I'm not saying they're not different, because they are. I agree with Chris, there's different ones out there. There's different dogs too.
Yeah,
Just like there's different breeds of counselors.
there's different
There's
people.
different people too. Okay, anything else? This is first reading. Changes will be seen in second. Any questions?
Changes will be made in second?
Yeah,
Seen in
All right.
second.
yeah.
Okay.
Not sure when I should ask this question. I would also like just some flavor with regards to whether or not we want to have like a non-statutory public hearing to get any feedback, or it's not required. But it is a fairly big change, so you have the option if you would like to have some feedback.
I think.
There's still gonna be
feedback
people
is-
saying they never heard about it.
Okay.
Like, I think that's all we're trying to do is do education. Yeah, well, I don't know what you're gonna give away to bring them in.
It
Well, I
was just a question.
I
If
think
there's no
the-
flavor, we won't.
Go ahead, Chris. We
Oh,
won't
Chris,
cut
are you
you
gonna
off.
talk?
I think the possibility of public feedback is always a good idea. Would we get buy-in on it? Probably not, but I think we got to offer it.
Well, I think if you have it, the only people that come will be the opposed. But that's good too. Then you know how it goes. Yeah,
Opposing views to take into consideration is not a bad thing.
would we be able to change the map?
For the off-leash area or for the restricted?
Well, it
areas?
says asphalt trails and shale trails. To my sense, we don't have shale trails anymore.
Yes, we can update that map.
Thank you.
We'll find a way to do that.
You know what? Just put asphalt trails showing thus, that black and orange one that'll confuse the hell out of people.
Yes, we'll bring that back.
Old asphalt trails and new asphalt trails. Do it that way. That'll. But anyway, I just thought we paved all those. Spent a lot of money.
Yeah. And got some flack.
Did we?
You got flower.
We only got good things, I thought.
Yeah, flower.
Oh, I got some good things. I really got flack.
Yeah, there's some people that weren't very happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, you're right.
No,
They went
there
away though.
might be no cake this year for Cat.
Oh, no. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else? Gonna call the question. All in favor of first reading? Opposed? Yeah, it's carried. Yep. You're the cat.
Oh,
I just think some of the stuff that's in here is different.
I agree with you, Kathy, and I hope to see it change before it gets official.
and you would be wrong, Chris, but okay.
All right. Redcliff Family and Community Services Board bylaw for first reading.
I'll move first reading.
Any questions or concerns?
Take that. Gender inclusive.
Shannon, did you find some errors?
There are a few corrections that will be coming forward on second reading. First reference to the bylaw number at the top of the header. With regards to section 22A, that is no longer in the NGA like that, so that will be removed.
Just like that. I can't go.
You can if we appoint you, if they appoint you.
Well, I can go, I just can't vote.
And then number 36 needs to be changed. And then number 54 needs to have the correct bylaw number, which we will be repealing. So those changes will come forward on second reading if you are in favor of this bylaw.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
Not that.
Seeing none, all in favor of first reading? Opposed? Carried. All right, moving on to requests for decision. Pitch-in week, April 21 to 26 of 2025 for consideration.
Sure.
So basically, by approving this, that's free dumping at the landfill with the exception of exempted items. And then the pitch-in week, supplying gloves and donuts and bags for everybody. Okay.
Go ahead, a question. How do we advertise this? I know we do like on our socials, but how else?
On the
Like
sign.
on the side?
On the, you got the sign coming in, social media.
Just because I know I've talked to a few people that never know when it is or they don't see what it is. Like, I don't know if there's another way we can advertise it a little bit more.
The utility bill should be going out soon, right?
Next week.
Yeah, so this can go in that,
Can we do that?
because it's January, February, March, this will go out.
Maybe in the newsletter too, but
Yeah, that's what I meant, like, because usually they send out a newsletter with the utility bills, right? So
Might as well
we-
throw in the classifieds in the newspaper too.
who
Do
reads
people
those?
read those? What's a newspaper?
Be a waste of $12.
You can't get an ad in the newspaper for $12. What a wiener.
$7 then. Don't tell me it's more.
1,200 maybe, but anyway,
$10 per reader.
okay. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? It is carried. And then let's camp reservation booking system for consideration. Kathy?
Option number one.
Kathy?
I don't understand. How is it free?
It isn't free. Well, they charge a fee.
No, it says there's no cost to the town.
Yeah, because they charge a fee.
Oh, to the renters.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
kind of like GoFundMe. They just take a chunk
Yeah.
at the top.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So it is a cost to the town.
No,
Eventually, just not.
no, if we're gonna,
No.
if we want $30 a night, they charge 33.
Yeah. So now it's just costing more to camp because if we charge $30 a night, then we'd only get 27, so.
Yeah. Well,
No,
No, we get our 30, they
We get
charge
30.
30.
I know
An
we,
additional 3.
you guys aren't hearing what I'm saying.
You're right.
that's,
Okay, it's gonna cost our campers more money. Or
Hey.
the town's going to lose money.
Now you're catching on.
There you go. Well, no, I caught on.
All I can say is that I used this particular program. Getting campsites in Alberta and BC, and it's easy to use. And if it's gonna cut down on administrative stuff for our staff, I'm all for it.
So the question is, when it comes to policing, they don't do that.
People already.
So if people aren't paying and
they're
staying,
not good at.
we won't know that.
Yeah.
There's not some blue light, red light in the campsite that says he's paid and hasn't paid.
no, we don't have
There-
blue light, red light now.
No, we don't.
There's
But
still
if we
some-
install them, it's expensive.
So
So
there's
that
just
part
some
of,
administration expense.
that part of the system stays the same. We would get a list every day, or if it's booked for a week, then it's easy to go. They would probably put their license plate numbers in their booking, so we could just have that report, go there and check them. And if there's someone who's staying there that hasn't paid, we know.
Yeah.
Because there are some people right now that'll pay when they leave. Like, I was here for 2 nights, here's my. So
So like,
And like I said, I've used
the
it.
the enforcement side of things isn't going to.
And put in the license number of our truck. What our camper was, how big it was. So yeah, they do gather information that we could. The report, bylaw officer, quick drive in the morning, okay, who's here and who shouldn't be. Or public works, whoever.
Well, right, I believe right now it's Public Works, but that process still carries on. If nobody's checking, then
And nobody's checking.
nothing's changing.
Yeah.
But it takes admin for actual campground rentals out, but it doesn't change the operations end of it.
If somebody doesn't have the setup to do this, can they do it manually or?
Well, everybody has a cell phone anymore, do they not, Larry?
Yeah, like I've got.
Like
the app
I-
on my phone.
If it, like it says in here that the cost to the town would be at the very most is putting up a sign, so when you drive in, you see you have to go to Let's Camp to register.
Yeah.
So when they drive in, even if they didn't pre-register, when they drive in, that's when they're gonna have to do it.
Put a QR code on that sign?
I know they have the mini storage and there's people that
Don't use it.
No, they come in and
No, I agree. There's people that would rather talk to a person than go online, but if this is what it is, and we never did have, all we had before was an honor system.
My grandparents would.
So are we still gonna have the honor system?
No, this would probably do away with the honor system, because if you went in there and honor system campsite 22, Let's Camp wouldn't know somebody was in 22 and they could rent 22 to another person, and then you'd have two people paying, and then there'd be
You're making
a problem.
money.
No, there'd be a problem,
it's cohabitating.
and not nicely. I
Cause
think.
yeah,
That's the account.
So you either have to go one way or the other.
Okay,
You
well
can't
then-
have both.
I hope we have very easy access to instructions on how to do this for the not so technical literate.
Well, like James was saying, if you put a QR code on the sign, most people know how to use that, right?
Yeah, but not all. Especially campers tend to be older people.
I'm trying to say I can't.
I camp all the time, and I'm older than you are.
Exhibit A,
I'm
Exhibit
in
B.
trouble now.
Exhibit C, Jim, you look like you've camped. Resolution on this is great. I can see one finger at a time.
And we can count your nose hairs.
I don't know how they do it at Elkwater. You got to fight on January the 7th for a spot, right?
Yeah.
So people that are used to driving in and getting a spot, I say they don't get very many spots. Those are usually the ones in Walmart,
That's a good point.
Yeah,
because I don't,
Water,
just about everything is, they say they
One area
keep some.
they keep, yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
say.
it's overflow.
Pretty much anywhere you go now, it's somehow you gotta figure out how to do it ahead of time.
or ask the neighbor.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Any other questions or concerns? Kathy's motion was to go ahead. Call the question, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And then proposal from Maxwell Canyon Creek Realty for consideration.
I'll make a motion
Okay, what's your motion?
to
James
receive
is
information.
waffling. Receive for information?
I believe our fees are there for a reason. We gave him his full asking price of his commission. That was the deal.
They had that fourplex there 10, 15 years ago.
Well, Larry, we don't like you.
Steve Pierce.
You should have bought the land, Larry.
Yeah. You know, if you'd have bought the land, but no.
I was standing there with my checkbook. I was turned away.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Were you asking for more than 5% off?
No, I wanted to pay the full price.
Oh,
We probably
And
thought
you
it should-
voted on that. You voted on giving it away.
it's
instead of selling.
amazing some stuff he doesn't forget, and yet other stuff.
Just incredible. Like, I don't know how you can live with yourself.
Oh, it's hard. It's really hard. I drink.
He wasn't in tears when I saw him the other day, Larry. He was still crying.
Okay. Chris, move for information. Any comments or concerns? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, other municipal manager report to council. Any questions or concerns?
There was busy.
Nice to see that we're down to 3 ongoing enforcement files for development. Sure. Unfortunately, Alicia's not here tonight, but under the arena, the Zamboni issue is multiple. Can anybody speak to what that means? Well, I know that, but
but it wasn't that old.
And
As well.
15.
Yeah, so last week on Wednesday, the Zamboni went down. It it overheated or something. One of the fans went, so it wouldn't work. But they got it back up and running.
Why did she mention something about they almost
One's-
had to delay like 2 hours or something? Why, whatever was going on at the ice. Because of the Zamboni issue.
That was another one. They got it stuck outside. It broke down.
That doesn't sound like a Zamboni issue.
When it,
Well, it is.
when it
That
was,
sounds like an operator.
They're just an
Sorry.
operator, so it's.
Yeah.
well, no, when they took it out to dump the ice, it stopped and then they couldn't get it started again. So that was another. If your truck stops, it's not your fault.
It's not designed to be outdoors. It's an indoor critter. Oh,
Does Ford also have police?
actually, I think that isn't. No, is that a
No.
Ford engine in there? It could be.
No,
It's propane, but it could be a Ford engine.
it's Dodge.
So I guess one question I would ask, and again, this is probably more for Alicia, but is it a maintenance thing or is it just coincidental that we seem to be having lots of problems with the Zamboni lately? I watched them drive the Zamboni a couple weekends ago. There was a lot of hitting the wall, but like it just, you know, when you talk about these things, is that because we're not properly maintaining this piece of equipment because we don't know how or we just don't know what to look for, or is it we're not properly maintaining it because maybe we want a new one, or is it just coincidental that, because I remember Tom a couple weeks ago was talking about that there was Zamboni issues then too, and it seems like this has just been a month of issues. Maybe legitimate, I don't know, but just seems odd.
I think you're right that it's a better question for Alicia.
Fair enough.
I can follow up with operations with regards to the history of Zamboni and the required repairs. And
I'd just be curious, because I know it did come up at budget and we're pretty adamant they wanted a new one, but it didn't seem like it was that old.
It's 15 years.
15 year.
Yeah, but that's not that old. Look at your truck, it's 30 years old. But
3
like,
million miles on it.
But
you know,
there's,
yeah, just because it's 15 years old, like it gets used for half the year and then it sits, so it's not like it's.
there's still, I think she said over 10,000 hours on it still. So that's a lot of hours.
Going round and round.
But yeah, all it's doing is driving a circle, so. Like,
It's a very truck.
I don't know anything about Zambonis,
It's propane, so it runs clean.
and maybe I'm just completely off base, but it just seems odd to me. So, yeah, I'd just like to know.
I think sometimes we would replace machinery of every kind just because it's time to replace it instead of
Well,
because it needs to be
Yeah,
replaced.
that's kind of what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of said at budget time. And so it just seems odd that after we shot down a new Zamboni, all of a sudden this thing keeps breaking all the time. So I just curious.
I will find
That
out more
or the-
information.
That or the staff was right that it was time to replace it,
Some
James.
people need lights year round.
What's that?
That or the staff was right that it's time to replace it.
Possibly. Like I said, I might be wrong, but it just, I don't know, 15 years old doesn't seem that old to me when all you do is drive around circles in a clean, cold environment with a propane. And but I don't know anything about Zamboni, so I could be completely off base.
That's a very important statement.
Well, and I'll admit it.
That one on.
During our thing on Tuesday, our MLA kind of hinted that there might be a grant that might be available. Just the way she was talking. Like if we were to.
Well, it's not, or even that.
So
That's what people are buying.
That's the point. The city has a pretty one, cool place.
Okay. Anything else on the report?
On the arena on the scoreboard. It's a bit of a sore point right now. The Lions gave minor hockey the money to buy that board. Yeah, it really bothers me. Basically gave them enough money to pay for the thing. And nobody said boo to the Lions. It's,
Well, they've taken the credit themselves
Yeah,
yeah,
and they're glad that they got that grant too. So it's a good deal all around.
I did see a schematic. And you're
Yeah,
the
there's-
lines are gonna be a,
yeah, they're gonna put a logo on it.
There you go, so they're getting the credit.
a big one, that's consolation. And it, well, according to the,
Yeah, I'll wait and see it.
Okay. Any other?
the. Yes.
Just me being me, I know that that museum furnace should be under warranty. They were both replaced not that long ago by R&R Plumbing. They're Lennox furnaces. They got a longer warranty. What do they got? Just 1 year warranty on their motors, Larry? Lennox? If they were just the simple ones like an ML 193.
Yeah, I think parts like that are 1 year.
Oh, okay. So then we would have to pay for a new motor.
That's why you buy a York, you get 10-year warranty.
Yeah, then they're $2,000 motors, so.
Hmm.
Yes, I don't think those were variable. They were just cheap 4-speed motors, I'm sure.
193s.
Yeah, I'm sure they were 193s. They didn't even have a light on, they just picked them. Got the cheapest contract. Anyway. And what else? Anything? All in favor of receiving of information? Opposed? It's carried. Community Facility Enhancement Program for information.
I'll make that motion.
Kathy, receive for information. Comments or concerns? All in favor?
Good looking picture.
Who's the squatty guy on the left there?
Yeah.
Larry, that fisheye lens did not do you any favors.
Well, thanks again.
I was just thinking you should have had a little bit of a lens filter up there. It's pretty shiny.
there's quite a glare there.
Cool.
Hey, who's the guy in the brown jacket?
he's vice president, he was,
David.
David Skagen. Vice president of the,
It's a very nice name tag, Matt. And those shoes are shiny. You got
Very shiny.
you betcha.
You put a lot of the tie. It's a really nice knot too.
I'd say.
I didn't hear Matt. Who's the vice president of?
Right here.
David Skagen,
Vice president of,
Right,
minor hockey.
fine, okay, that's what I thought.
Used to be on the rec committee board.
Okay. All in favor of receiving information?
Already did that once.
I
Opposed?
thought we did.
Oh, well, it carried again, for sure this time. Any counselors with a verbal report? Nobody went anywhere exciting?
That one. So I sat in on the video thing with, Spud Mods.
Is that like Big Drive?
No,
No, we're in blue shirt tonight. Come on.
All right,
but it was, so there was, so Cypress County couldn't come in because they were having their meeting at the same time. Larry Hirsch chimed in, and then just some others from around the area. A lot of it, of course, was about tariffs and stuff. But the mayor of Sterling, do you know Trevor?
no,
Okay.
Apparently that's on a first name basis.
Well, I wrote it down. He was just talking, he was trying to see what kind of interest there would be about collaboration with southern municipalities about how we can, like, going forward, if like all these tariffs come in, which it looks like they're going to, when it comes to like purchasing and stuff like that with budgets, like purchasing equipment, purchasing whatever. If that's something that maybe we'd want to be a part of.
Don't we do that through AMA already, or?
well, we use a few different places, like there's a few buying groups we belong to, so I don't know.
So I got his contact information. I haven't talked to him about it yet. I get more information. I just need to see. Others would think about.
Because we use Canoe and outfits like that, right? That are buying
Yeah.
consortiums, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like other municipalities are talking about like budget reductions, like 4 or 5%. To really, so then that way they'll, if you have to go buy a new tractor or something like that, you're buying Canadian because it might cost more than buying an American piece of equipment, right? So it's things like that they're talking about. You know,
Well, I think it's a matter of, if you're gonna try to boycott a certain country, then I guess as long as I'm not buying from them, doesn't matter. Like not everything is made in Canada.
no,
Yeah.
And
You try and find a tractor made in Canada.
I was just using that as an example.
Lamborghini makes tractors.
Yeah.
That's what they started off with.
Yeah, he was a tractor maker before he became a car maker.
Yep, he got mad at Ferrari, at Enzo.
Yeah, well, because he kept burning out the clutches that were the same clutches in his tractor. In the Ferrari. And then he found out how much Ferrari was charging him for his clutches, and he said, "The hell with that, I'll make my own cars."
I didn't know that.
That's the story I got when I was over there. Yeah, it was the same clutch in his tractors that was like $20, and Ferrari was charging him $400 or $500. And he got really mad.
Well, they still do that. There's a lot of Volkswagen parts in Lamborghinis.
And there should be, keeps them reliable.
Also, help play on their emissions testing.
Yeah, don't do fuel test, no. But give us only in their diesels. Like a little.
Yeah.
Just a little. Okay.
I was at Siwa
Okay.
Whoa,
and there's nothing ground shaking there, but I come up with an idea that they have a system where they can, with radar, they can find out where your groundwater is in under the ground. And then you could put wells in and pump to the storm sewer, and you could lower the groundwater below the weeping tiles, and it would save us, what is it, $1.70 a cube for sewer that we paid.
Only for that high.
No, I don't think it's $1 yet. They wanted it to be over $1.
They wanted it, it's pretty close.
Pretty close to $1 or pretty close to $1.70.
Pretty close to $1.
So we'd save all that money. Plus, we'd also save people from getting flooded out if we had a rain event. And it would cost cheaper than taking everybody's sump pump and everybody's weeping tile.
Larry, you mentioned this system before and it sounded very intriguing. Didn't we say that we were going to discuss it at GPC sometime?
Pretty sure that's what he said.
What did you say?
He said you mentioned this last meeting.
Yeah,
and we're gonna discuss it.
I didn't see. That was just as we were leaving.
Yeah. No, it sounds very interesting.
And I was at the seniors meeting and I gave you the wrong information. I thought that FCSS was going to rent their office, but they're not. They're going to be in the town hall here, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And they're not going to be in the seniors building. And then, of course, well, they said they might go to the seniors building for privacy. But anyway, they're not over there.
So we're going to start out here. Yes, the family doesn't have any, sure. All right. Does anybody else have any interesting reports? Somebody like to move those reports for information?
Oh, actually, one quick thing here, sorry. I was just going back through my calendar just to see what meetings I went to. The Rural Renewal Steering Committee, they are going to dissolute themselves because of new federal immigration policies. So does that mean some money's coming back? I doubt it, but we voted to leave it anyways, but they're dissolving anyways. Sorry, pausing. I guess they're not dissolving. They're pausing till further notice.
Like tariffs.
Okay.
Well, they're on, then they're off, then they're on, then they're off. You can't be better.
Okay.
We made that motion.
James just did it.
I thought you said terrorists, and I didn't understand.
Are you having a hard time hearing today? I mean, you should be turning the lights.
Yeah. He looks older than the queen, but
He does.
Measurements look great.
Keep it up.
all right.
Keep it up.
All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Volunteer appreciation event. Information.
I'll move for information.
Yeah, Chris, all right. You're close, Jim. Any comments or concerns? I don't see where the cost is, but that's one thing.
Oh, yeah, that's, think about that too. There's no cost.
Yeah, I did not see a cost anywhere. I'm assuming there's one, but
Oh, I'm assuming we're paying for the dinner.
well, it used to be attendees paid, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. If it's free, I definitely think people will show up, but
I thought it was by, didn't we do it by invitation?
Volunteer appreciation dinner, but you have to pay to appreciate yourself. Seems a little-
well, normally what it used to be is groups would buy their citizens ticket, but I don't know. I don't know.
Where do you buy the tickets?
Well, it says you talk to
Melanie.
Mr. SVP.
Find out if I don't have further information tonight.
So,
Okay.
do you guys choose a citizen of the year?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
Nominate Matt St. Pierre. $40,000.
All in favor of receiving information, opposed, carried, and then landfill graphs.
Yeah.
Jim, all right. Any questions or concerns? Quiet months.
You'd have gold.
Well, February was on the cooler side.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor of receiving information, opposed, that is carried. And then council important meetings and events for information.
I'll move for information.
James. Anything we missed? Something coming up? St. Patrick's Day is coming in there. Easter's probably coming in there.
Well, Good Friday's on there. So,
Yeah.
That's the only session.
Easter's right off of that. Okay,
Do you guys get Easter Monday off?
no, they get the Friday off. Easter Monday is just a day after Turkey, that's all.
Yeah. Well,
Just the day after,
don't the feds take that one?
the day after
I
that,
thought the feds take that one
Easter Monday.
for the September. one or whatever.
Okay,
Christmas Eve.
all in favor? Opposed? Do we need a recess?
Need a Shannon break? Yep.
No, Shannon break.
Okay, 5-minute break.
Sure.